Good morning, children. Today we'll discuss about torque, free motion of a rigid body. Let us go with the presentation. Torque, free motion of a rigid body. First, we'll discuss about equations of motion. Now, let us consider a rigid body which is fixed at a particular point. When no external torque is acting on this rigid body, then the Euler's equations of motion, which are reduced to I1 omega 1 dot equals to I2 minus I3 into omega 2 omega 3, I2 omega 2 dot equals to I3 minus I1 into omega 3 omega 1, I3 omega 3 dot equals to I1 minus I2 into omega 1 into omega 2. So these are the equation number 76. In case of the body which is not subjected to any net forces or torques, that means whenever you are considering a rigid body, when no external force or torques are applied on that particular rigid body, its center of mass is either rest or it moves with the uniform velocity. Now we will discuss about the rigid body. We will discuss about the rigid body, that means rotational motion of the rigid body in a reference system in which center of mass is stationary, and choose the center of mass as fixed point and origin for the principal axis in the body. In particular case, in such a case, we obtain from equation number 76 two integrals of motion which describes the kinetic energy and angular momentum as constant in time. That means from equation number 76 we will obtain the two integrals of motion which describes the kinetic energy and angular momentum as constant in time. So now let us consider equation number 76a, 76b, 76c. These three equations. Now let us consider those three equations and multiply with omega 1 for 76a and omega 2 with 76b and omega 3 with 76c. Then add all those equations. Then we will obtain I1 I1 omega 1 dot plus I2 omega 2 dot plus I3 omega dot 3, which is equals to I2 minus I3 plus I3 minus I1 plus I1 minus I2 into omega 1 into omega 2 into omega 3. And here in the case of RHS, all these positives and negatives will get cancelled. So RHS will equals to 0. And we can write LHS can be written as derivative of half I1 omega 1 square plus half I2 omega 2 square plus half I3 omega 3 square. So by taking the differentiation with respect to time, again we will obtain the same. The value won't be changed. So this is equals to 0, or half I1 omega 1 square plus half I2 omega 2 square plus half I3 omega 3 square can be written as half omega into j. Why? Because I1 omega 1 is nothing but j1. So I omega is j, and again we have omega. So half omega dot j, which is a constant. So this equation is nothing but which is the principle of conservation of total rotational kinetic energy in the absence of external torque. We know tau equals to dj by dt, which is equals to 0. So j is equals to I1 omega 1 I cap plus I2 omega 2 j cap plus I3 omega 3 k cap, which is equals to constant. So which describes, this is another constant of motion which represents the principle of conservation of angular momentum. This is principle of conservation of angular momentum. Now let us discuss the second one, geometrical description of a rigid body motion. So, if we consider a rigid body which is torque free motion, that means no external torque is acting on that rigid body. So, we have written the above equation number 76, and consequently we have obtained two integrals of motion 77 and 78. Already we have obtained these two equations. Now, we'll describe an interesting geometrical description of the motion called the Poisson's construction. So, in this construct, first we shall describe the inertia ellipsoid. Now, let us consider inertia ellipsoid. Now, here the kinetic energy of a rotating rigid body in a coordinate system of principal axis is given by, we have t equals to half omega dot j, and also we have t equals to half sigma alpha equals to 1 to 3 I alpha omega alpha square. So these by equating these two t, we will obtain t equals to half omega dot j equals to half sigma alpha equals to 1 to 3 I alpha omega alpha square. So here omega is the angular velocity, which can be expressed as omega equals to omega into omega n, or n cap equals to omega by omega. So omega n cap equals to omega 1 I cap plus omega 2 j cap plus omega 3 k cap. and I1, I2, I3 are the principal moments of inertia, and I is the moment of inertia about the axis of rotation. Thus, we have I1 omega 1 square plus I2 omega 2 square plus I3 omega 3 square equals to I omega square. I omega square is nothing but 2t. So, here omega equals to omega n cap we will use, and here I omega square also, which is equals to 2t, we will use in the coming equations. Now, let us see the motion of the inertial ellipsoid related to the invariable plane. So, this is the invariable plane, which is the motion of inertia ellipsoid, and this is Paul-Hort, and this is Herpol-Hole, and here this Paul-Hole, which is a closed curve, and this Herpol-Hole, which is not a closed curve, and this Paul-Hole, which rolls without skipping on this Herpol-Hole in the invariable plane. Paul-Hole, which rolls without slipping on the Herpol-Hole in the invariable plane without slipping. So here we have theta, and this is rho, and this is j. So let us define a vector rho equals to n cap by root of I cap. So n cap already I told you. Here we have omega. Here already we have seen omega equals to omega n cap, or n cap equals to omega by omega. We are replacing n cap with omega by omega into root of I. So omega into, we will send this omega into inside. So I omega square, which is equals to omega by I omega square is nothing but 2t, root of 2t. So rho equals to rho 1 I cap plus rho 2 j cap plus rho 3 k cap. So that rho 1 equals to omega 1. We have rho 1 equals to omega 1 by root of 2t. Rho 2 equals to omega 2 by root of 2t. So rho 3 equals to omega 3 by root of 2t are the components of rho vector along the principal axis. And equation number 79. So this equation number 79. I1 rho 1 square plus I2 rho 2 square plus I3 rho 3 square equals to 0. So here it is not there, not printed properly here. So this equation I1 rho 1 square plus I2 rho 2 square plus I3 rho 3 square equals to 1. So this is equation number 82, and this equation represents an ellipsoid in row space, which is called an inertia ellipsoid. This equation is inertia ellipsoid. So as the direction of the axis of rotation changes in time, flow vector along the same direction moves accordingly, and its tip moves on the surface of the inertia ellipsoid. Now we'll consider the invariable plane. Invariable plane. So now let us consider a rigid body which is rotating about a fixed point O, and here also no external torque is acting on this particular point, and here this is the invariable plane, and here we can observe, here this is omega and this is j. Here j is so the angular momentum, here j is the angular momentum vector, which is constant and has a fixed direction. So here j has a fixed direction in space. So the line along the direction of this j, the line along the direction of the angular momentum vector is known as invariable line. This line is called invariable line. So for force free motion, kinetic energy is also constant, and hence omega dot j is equals to 2t, which is constant. Thus, so here we can observe projection of omega on j. That means here we will get omega cos theta. So here projection of omega on j, omega cos theta, which is a constant, and therefore the tip of omega, this tip of omega, which describes a plane called invariable plane. So here tip of omega is which describes the invariable plane. That means here the projection of omega on j with constant omega cos theta we can observe here. Any observer can observe here, and here this is the omega. We can see the precision or rotation of omega on angular velocity vector g. Now we will see motion of the inertia ellipsoid on invariable plane. Motion of the inertia ellipsoid and invariable plane. So from equation number 80 we have rho equals to omega by root of 2t. So this gives the force free motion. This gives force free motion. So rho dot j. So already we have rho equals to omega by root of 2t. So multiply with j on both sides. So rho dot j equals to omega dot j by root of 2t. So we know that omega dot j equals to 2t. So by cancelling we will obtain root of 2t, which is a constant. So because the kinetic energy half omega dot j is the constant of motion, therefore tip of rho also describes an invariable plane in rho space. So in fact this plane is the tangent plane at the point rho. So let us prove the statement from the equation number 82. So I1 rho 1 square plus I2 rho 2 square plus I3 rho 3 square equals to 1. Let it be say f of rho. So dou f by rho, dou rho 1 equals to 2I1 rho 1, dou f by dou rho 2 equals to 2I2 rho 2, dou f by dou rho 3 equals to 2I3 rho 3. Therefore, delta rho f equals to 2 I1 rho 1 I cap plus I2 rho 2 j cap plus I3 rho 3 k cap. Or here, so 2 by, so here we have 2 by root of 2t I1 omega 1. So here we have rho is rho 2 I1 2 of I1 rho 1 I cap plus I2 rho 2 j cap plus I3 rho 3 k cap. So here rho is nothing but omega by root t. Here rho is nothing but omega by root t. So here 2 by I1 again omega rho is nothing but omega 1 by root of 2t plus I3 omega 2 plus I3 omega 3 k cap, which is equals to, so here I1 omega 1 is nothing but again I omega is nothing but j. So root 2, here it will cancel 2 times, here root of 2 by tj. So here rho is nothing but omega by root of 2t. We are replacing rho with omega by root of 2t. So that is equals to delta rho f is equals to root of 2 by t into j. So thus the normal at the point rho on the ellipsoid in case of force free motion, that means whenever any external force not acting on the rigid body, so the normal at the point rho on the ellipsoid is along the constant angular momentum vector j, and the tangent plane at the point rho is perpendicular to j. But the invariable plane is normal to the vector j, and hence tangent plane rho is the invariable plane. So the distance between origin of the ellipsoid and the tangent plane at the point rho is given by rho cos theta equals to rho into j by j. So rho equals to omega by root of 2t. So j by j. So here omega dot j is nothing but 2t. Again, if we substitute omega dot j as 2t, and by cancelling we'll obtain root of 2t by j, which is a constant. So here let us see. So let us discuss this one. So here motion of the inertia ellipsoid for a symmetrical body. Motion of the inertia ellipsoid for a symmetrical body. When I1 equals to I2. So when I1 equals to I2, so this is the case. So this is the invariable plane, and this is body cone. This is inertia ellipsoid. Sorry, this is body cone. So this is body cone, and this cone is space cone, and this is, here we have omega j, and this is Fallholt, and this is Herpolholt, and here this is the inertia ellipsoid, this is body cone, this is space cone. That means when I1 equals to I2, motion of the inertia ellipsoid for the symmetrical body. So this is the case. Suppose if we consider when I3 is less than I1, when I3 is less than I1, this is the case. When I3 is less than I1, and this is the body cone, and here this is the space cone. So here the body cone is outside the space cone. So when I3 is less than I1, body cone is outside the space cone. When I3 is greater than I1, if we consider I3 is greater than I1, so this body cone which is roll inside the space cone. When I3 is greater than I1, body cone is rolled inside the space cone. So this is the body cone rolling around a space cone without slipping. So these are the conditions. Thank you, children.